Day 2 of training. Today we should be doing a Zoom call session with Jason and the rest of the PDQ guys, but it's Wednesday night, which means it's swimming lessons for the boys. So we're going to jump onto Zwift and do that now. But before we do that session, and this session is going to be harder than yesterday. Yesterday was about building some strength in the legs, just essentially testing out where they are after that break. Today it's back on to doing intervals, sweet spot, a little bit of high rev repetitions. But before we do that, we've got to jump on and do a quick little warm up. And as the Nyokio Badge Hunt series is going on, stage number 3 today, it's really short, it's only about 9k, so we're going to use that as a warm up. So let's jump on the bike. So there we go, 2 hours on the track, this time behind a Derny. Obviously 2 hours actually turns out to round about an hour's worth of track time. Let's have a look at a couple of numbers. 26 kilometres was ridden, a moving time of 55 minutes with an average power of 133 watts. Average speed of 28 kilometres an hour. Now that doesn't sound like much at all. Maximum speed 58 kilometres an hour and a lapse time of 1 hour 55, because the way the Garmin works, or the way I've got it set up for the track, is I turn it on at the start of the session and it actually only records anything when I'm moving because I have a speed sensor on. So, but of course it's running all that time, so that does affect what my power is, what my average speed is, etc. Average cadence 72 RPM with a max cadence of 133. Pretty happy with that. Average heart rate of 149 with a max of 180. Now, 149, it's a little bit low, to be honest. Power, average power 133, total work 445 kilojoules, max power of 962, a weighted average of 201, so a training load of 64 with an intensity of 75. Now, all of those numbers don't really sound like much. We've got 33 minutes at 148 watts or below, 6 minutes up to 200, 5 minutes at tempo, 3 minutes at threshold, 2 minutes at VO2 max, 2 minutes at anaerobic, and 3 minutes at neuromuscular. So that feels and certainly reads quite simple. Certainly getting into the car to drive back tonight, I was thinking, do you know what? I missed a session this morning because I was meant to be doing some track piloting as well, but the piloting didn't happen. So instead of having a 4-hour session on the track, it only turned out to be 2. So instead of 2 hours worth of work, I've only got 1. And I was thinking, you know, I'll drive home, I'll jump on Zwift and I'll do a session. And certainly thinking about those numbers and thinking about the way I felt, I didn't feel, except for the last effort was a Kieran. And I was in position 2. I was in the slower group tonight. There was 2 of us who were fairly evenly matched, as it turns out. And he was in position 1. I have no idea what was going on behind me. 3 laps, obviously the Derny pulls off. I'm watching this guy thinking he's got a pretty fast kick because he already beat me in the points race. 2 laps to go, he still hasn't quite picked it up. 1.5 to go, he's maybe starting to pick up a little bit. I've moved up onto the red line. Maybe just up, maybe just a little bit higher on the red line because I wanted to come down and get a little bit of extra momentum. I also wanted to make sure that anyone who was thinking about coming round me was going to have to go higher. And then with 1 to go, I took off. He obviously went as well. Down the back straight, I was on his wheel. Coming into turn 3, turn 4, I was on his shoulder. Turn 4, I just nudged in front and then got in front enough for the win. Pretty happy with that. That's one of the places where the max power came from. Now, as I said, don't really feel like I've particularly worked, and I was thinking I'm jump on the bike when I get home. I've now got home and getting out the car, unpacking the car, bringing the bike in, I feel knackered. Absolutely gone. My legs are like jelly. I mean, it's 11:15 at night, so it's not the best time anyway, but there is no way I'm jumping on the bike. I will certainly try and get up early tomorrow. In fact, let's look at tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is easy ride, 1 hour power, but add in 2 or 3 max out 6-second sprints. And then we've got some weights work to do. Tolerance session or Zwift race on Thursday. A day off on Friday with some core work, hips and glutes. Another group ride at the weekend with some more weights. And then another group ride on Sunday. So that's this week's plan. As I say, you know, 81 TSS on Training Peaks with an intensity of 0.93. It still doesn't feel like I've done a lot of work. Very interesting. Is it because I've not been on the track for so long? Because this is the first time I've been on the track since we returned from Masters. Tonight's issue though was definitely the new wheels, the new tyres. First corner up onto the boards, and the front wheel was slipping. It came back down, went back up, slipping. So I came off, and I was like, "No, this is not happening." Spoke to Ali, the coach, and he said, "Have you sanded them?" I said, "Yes." Have you wiped them with oil? With oil? Of course, I've not wiped them with oil. Have you wiped them with alcohol? I said, "Yes." Right. I'll go and get you some. Do it again. So I did it. Pressures were fine. I mean, the front was at 150, the back was at 120, just purely because I couldn't get the back to stay on when you're trying to pump it up yourself. The front was done with my new pump, the back one was done with the old pump, so I couldn't get the back up to 150, which is where I wanted it. One of the journey sessions, we came into, I think it was turn 1, and we just, as a group, we were just not going fast enough. We were on the blue line, and my back wheel just, slipped right out from under me. Fortunately, I managed to hang on to that, and I put it down to the fact that we weren't doing what I felt was enough speed to go around the corner. We did a few laps. That session was each lap somebody peels off, and then you carry on, peels off, carry on. Every 7th lap, sprint. I did the first sprint, and then as I was slowing down back on the blue line, waiting for the rest to join, it felt like it was slipping again. So I came off, sanded it down again, both tyres, alcohol rubbed again, both tyres, went back up, felt a little bit better. However, that obviously is now sticking in your head, and you're going down thinking, is my back wheel just ever so slightly... so that was in the back of the mind for the rest of the session. However, nothing else happened. Session's all good. As I said, don't feel like I've worked particularly hard. However, looking at some of the figures, I have actually worked hard. So pretty happy with that. Pretty happy to be back on the boards, and pretty happy that this is day 2 of week number 2. So that's it for today's update. I am, 11:15. I'm going to grab some food because I'm pretty peckish, and then get to sleep, try and get some sleep, and try and get up early for a session tomorrow morning, because tomorrow we have got a full flat out day of work, so the only time we can fit in a session is early doors. So better get fed, better get to bed. Catch you tomorrow.
I just want